Mic test. Hey, Martez. Hey, I can't get it off that full screen. Come get it off the full screen real quick. I got it. All right, you can turn. All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the health and wellness class. I try to do this every feast. We're gonna be. What I'm gonna do a quick presentation. It's not gonna last too long because the main purpose is to answer y'all's questions. And I think, with the questions that are going to come up, we'll be able to cover, you know, uh, all the topics and everything. It'll lead us into all the different areas that I might deem important to cover. Um, Also, if y'all want, y'all can move in closer if you want. It's up to y'all. But with that said, we're gonna get this rolling. And what I did, I have I, I pulled up a bunch of pictures, kind of different parts of the human body, because I'm gonna just show y'all how simple health is, staying healthy, reversing disease, everything like that. I'm gonna show you how simple it is and what everything ties into. okay? And the system that everything ties into is the lymphatic system. That's the body sewage system. So what I have here, I went and pulled up a bunch of different pictures. This is a picture of the heart. I'll make it bigger. And in this picture here, there we go. Okay, so that's a picture of the heart. Any part of the body, I don't care what part of the body, if you pull it up, all those green things you see on there are lymph nodes. Okay, so you can pull up an anatomy picture of a hair follicle. You're gonna see where the lymphatic is on it. You're gonna see where I'm gonna pull up a picture of the villi, which are like these little filament hairs in your gut, in your digestive system. You're gonna see where the lymphatic system is on that. Like any part of the body, it's supplied with blood, but it's also has a place to carry the waste away. You see what I'm saying? And that's key to everything. Okay, so that's the heart there. What you see on the heart is a bunch of lymph nodes and stuff like that. When that lymphatic system that's on the heart, when the heart sewage system begins to get backed up, guess what you begin to develop? Heart disease. Okay. All right, let's see what else I got here. Okay. So let's talk about the brain. Now, recently, when I say recently, I think in the past 10 to 15 years, um, academia and the medical association, they said they recently discovered the brain's lymphatic system, which is called the glymphatic system. That's what they call it. And it carries waste out of the brain, okay? If the brain's lymphatic system gets compromised, you'll develop different types of mental diseases. You know what I'm saying? You name them. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. Okay, so this is okay. This is a good one here. Can y'all see that pretty clear? I'm getting ready to make it bigger, but all right. So that there, what you're looking at there is in your stomach or in your intestines and in your colon, okay? Um, is made up like that whole thing you see shaped like that is a villa. There's thousands of them, probably more than that, and they line all through your gut. You could look it up to study more about it, and they're almost like little hairs and everything like that. But the main reason I put this up here is you see the red, that kind of red line there going up, and that's the blood supply. That's the blood coming in, and in the blue one is the blood going out. But that big green thing you see in the middle is a lymphatic vessel. The area of your body with the highest concentration of lymphatic vessels is your digestive system, okay? And that's gonna tie in later on, you know. And the reason why it's like that is because when you consume food, it's priority. I mean, you're bringing something directly into your body from the outside world. You know what I'm saying? So it's of utmost importance to deal with that. If toxins sit in your gut too long, it could come into your body and everything like that. Uh, the rest of the parts of your body outside of your respiratory system are isolated to the outside world, you know, and so they're isolated from toxins coming in and everything like that. All right, let's see. All right, so what we have here in this picture, and I couldn't find a real good picture of it, but this is gonna definitely suffice. So that's a blood vessel, okay? Let me make this bigger. All right, that's a blood vessel, okay? And that's what it when you hear people say I have high blood pressure, or people who have heart disease and have these issues, this is what's happening in their body. Now, on the top part of the blood vessel, you can see the wall. You see the wall of the blood vessel, and it's normal. On the bottom side, you see all that yellow. That yellow is toxins, or whatever you want to call it, backing up in the blood vessel. What happens due to a bad diet and what we're eating and stuff like that, you get toxins and stuff in your blood, and with the blood vessel wall actually absorbs those toxins to pull them out of the bloodstream, because life is in the blood. And as the lymphatic system gets backed up, that's what happens to your blood vessel wall. The toxins, the lymphatic system, whatever, it begins to back up in the blood vessel wall, and it begins to expand it and narrow the passage that the blood could pass through. But remember what I said, because this is important. That's inside the blood vessel wall. That's not on the blood vessel wall. So, like, we take this wall, for instance, this is on the wall. But imagine if we put this in the wall, you just see the wall bulge out. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure y'all understand that. And again, this is due to a backed up lymphatic system, due to improper diet and stuff like that. All right. What else do I got? Now, somewhere here, I'm not sure if I have it in here. Yeah, I don't have it here. But I have, there's a picture, you can look it up. You just type in hair follicle lymphatic system. And what you'll see is an anatomic or anatomy breakdown of a hair follicle. And you'll see where it gets its blood supply, but you'll also see where it gets lymphatic fluid going to it. And you have, like, if you want to, a lot of people wonder, hey, why do I go bald? What's up with baldness? Is due to a backed up lymphatic system in your head, around the hair follicles and in your head and everything like that. And those acids begin to back up, and they begin to burn away at all the parts of that hair follicle. And then the hair is not able to grow. See what I'm saying? So, and you'll see as y'all begin to ask questions and stuff like that, I'll go in more and more on you'll see how this is at the core of our health issues. So what causes the lymphatic system to back up? Well, one of the things I said is the improper diet. But not only an improper diet, it's a myriad of things. One of the key things is stress, whether it's real stress or whether it's artificially manufactured stress, like caffeine. Caffeine artificially stresses your body and puts it in a fight or flight state. But in order for it to be in that state, your body shuts down any unnecessary systems and is basically preparing for a fight or preparing for flight, preparing to run. And if one that energy that you perceive that you're getting is due to your body shutting these systems down and allocating all your energy to your major muscles and to your mind to be able to focus on stuff, because it's basically preparing you to fight. And people think, oh yeah, I'm focused, I got energy, this, that, and the other. But over a period of time, like people might consistently drink caffeine, your body is just sitting there, it's not toxifying, it's not detoxifying. It's just toxins are backing up because the kidneys are shut down, the lymphatic system shut down. Was another thing that causes it. I said stress, but we see it a lot here when we deal with deliverance. We see people harboring bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, rejection. Like a lot of these spirits cause people to be in a state where they're stressed, and it shuts their system down, and it's a breeding ground for disease. And then you couple that with a bad diet and some caffeine, and you got a recipe for disaster. We'll get into diet a little bit. So when it comes to diet, you have meat, okay? And let's make it simpler. Let's talk about protein, okay? I eat meat. I eat proteins. A lot of people think I don't eat meat and everything like that. I do. I eat meat. I eat dairy. I don't eat a lot of grain. I'm gonna get into that. But I consume these things, but in moderation. Uh, what's the reason why? We were designed. Our body was designed to take amino acids and make them into proteins. Okay, mainly. When we consume proteins like meat, dairy, beans, the proteins that are in grains, when we consume these proteins, and all a protein is a longer chain amino acid. Okay, when we consume these proteins, the body has to take those proteins, break them down into the building blocks it needs them to be, and then reassemble them back together. That process of breaking those proteins down is an acidic process. It generates more acidosis. And a lot of times, the amount of protein we consume, almost all the time, the amount of protein we consume, we don't use it all. The rest of that protein goes where? To the kidneys. All right. So check this out. I just put protein on the kidneys. Okay, that's what the search I put in Google. And what y'all should do, so y'all don't think I'm just sitting up here running my mouth, just type it in and just read the medical journals. Because everything I'm saying is in the medical journals, but it does, the things I'm saying do not get put out mainstream. Like when you go to the health and wellness sites and when you go to the diet sites and all this stuff that you might want to look. But if you just go crawl through the medical journals a little bit, you'll see everything is right there at your fingertips. And it comes up high on the searches. It says a high protein diet can be harmful to the kidneys, especially for people with kidney disease. A high protein diet can cause kidney stones, glomerular injury, and I can't even pronounce that one, which is the presence of protein in the urine. The way you know protein's in your urine is when you take a piss, if it's real bubbly, you know you got a lot of protein in your urine. If it's foamy, you might have kidney disease or something like that, or early stage kidney disease. You see what I'm saying? Um, it says the body produces more acid and toxins when there is too much protein, and this puts more pressure on the kidneys to filter the process, to filter and process the substances. Uh, I can remember, you know, we used to make a big pot of chili and eat off it for like 3 or 4 days straight. And by like day three, I used to notice I'd be feeling like a back pain, like right here. And that was my kidneys, you know. And when we would make the chili, we put kidney beans in it, black beans, just all types of beans, and just be hitting it for like 3 days, 4 days straight. And it's just so much protein is putting a load on the kidneys. Over a period of time, it's literally like sandpaper to your kidneys. Um, and that's protein. And you know, so the next one is grains. Okay. Um, you know, for me, that's the big one. Grains, particularly sugar, they tell you sugar is, and again, you could go type sugar neurotoxin and look for some medical journals. And sugar is literally like a neurotoxin. It on the way it affects the body. People with MS, I think MS is when the myelin sheath on the nerves is like eating away at and everything. It's another disease of a backed up lymphatic system. Um, you know, sugar and grains in general typically affect your neurological system. Okay. Um, we're talking about grains. And when I say grains, grains are a type of grass. And there are so types of grains. You got wheat, oats, sugar cane is a grain. What else? Rice, you name it. You know, all types of stuff. And I'm not like I'm not saying now me because I've had neurological issues and stuff like that. So for now I've cut grains totally out. Um, I'm not telling everybody to just completely cut them out, but in America, the amount of grains that are consumed is like people are unaware how much grain they're consuming and or grasses. And I'm talking about sugar, rice, corn, wheat, all that. They got wheat starch, like everything you look at, like you could pick up a bag of potatoes. It's almost hard to find some potatoes or tater tots or French fries. I didn't mean potatoes. I meant French fries or tater tots, something like that. It's almost impossible to find some without sugar or some type of grain in them. Sometimes you'll see mayonnaise has grain in them. Uh, literally when you go in a grocery store, anything that's in those aisles, like 90% of it has some type of grain in it. It'll have some type of corn, some type of rice or whatever. And just the amount of this stuff we're consuming is like gluttonous, and it has a bad effect on your body. Now, the other thing about grains is you're consuming so much sugar because it turns into sugar, and what your liver has to do is convert it to fat, so there's not too much sugar in your bloodstream. So you see a lot of um, obesity going on, and you know it's like an equation. If you're obese, I know you're eating grains a lot. I mean, just literally, that's just the way it works. Um, and then the effect it has on the blood. Now, I talked to um, brother Jonathan, and he was telling me about uh, Becker, bread Becker, and I think it's called einkorn. And me and him had a good discussion about that at the leadership meeting. And he was just telling me how, and I watched the video, and it made sense because he was telling me how they process the grain and they strip certain things from the grain, which ends up making it so it ends up making it so it doesn't break down the same when you digest it. With this bread Becker's and this einkorn wheat, he was showing me, um, they grind the wheat up with the wheat berries. So basically, they grind the whole plant up in the flour. And brother Jonathan actually has a grinder, and he does it himself. And it actually aids in the breakdown of the proteins that are in the grain. Now, and the reason why that's important is because the proteins in grains, it takes a lot to break them down. If you look at an animal that consumes grain, like a cow, it has to chew it, and then it swallows it, then it spits it back up again, chews it again, swallows it, and then it has like 3 stomachs to break it down. We can't break a lot of those proteins down in grains. And what happens, grains have something I think it's called zeon in it, but they have a protein in it that binds to your like when it hits your gut lining, your gut wall, it triggers your gut to be permeable, and the some of those other strange proteins are able to get in, be absorbed through your gut into your body system. And like one in particular is gliadin, is a protein, and it binds to the opioid receptor in your brain, and it causes you to crave more food, and it causes you to not be satiated by food, particularly grains. So this is why, like, you somebody could just endlessly eat cupcakes and stuff like that and not be filled up. But this is why, like in Texas, like you could go to some Texas restaurants and they'll give you a big, huge steak and say, if you could eat all that, you ain't got to pay nothing, because they know meat will trigger your sedentary switch. Uh, Fruits, vegetables, stuff like that will trigger your sedentary switch. But wheat and grains, they won't trigger your sedentary switch. They'll cause you to crave more. Like, and this is what happens with people when they get off the grains. Their appetite isn't as aggressive. Like me, I eat basically 1 meal a day. Now here at the feast is different. You know what I'm saying? but typically I eat one meal a day and I'm not walking around hungry. Um, Prior to when I used to just eat grains regularly, I'd eat 3 meals a day. I eat a big breakfast, a big lunch, and a big dinner. Now I eat one decent sized meal and I'd be hard pressed to have another meal. I might get a snack or something like that, but you see what I'm saying? So, um, so that's the thing about grains. Like I said, um, dairy. So what I find with a lot of people who have respiratory, upper and lower respiratory issues, dairy is a major agitator of that. Now, dairy has protein in it too. I eat dairy. I love butter and I love cheese. You know what I'm saying? But again, sparingly. Um, if I could give you the portions of those things that we consume in our assembly, it'd be, I would say, like with dairy, maybe 30% dairy, 10% meat, and 60% fruit and vegetables. You see what I'm saying? During the week, it's probably even less than that, but that's kind of our diet there. I'm gonna have some of our sisters, particularly Sister Coy. She'll talk a little later on about how she cooks, what she uses, because they've been able. We do eat this way, but these sisters have been able to, like, I still have carrot cake, but it's grain free, sugar free, and it's better than carrot cake that I've had that got grain and sugar in it. I have pizza, cookies, chocolate cake, brownies, like whatever you like, you can make. There's alternatives. They just don't, people don't want you to think there's alternatives out there. Um, when it so we have that there. When it comes to losing weight, um, I was walking around saying if you eliminate the grain, you're gonna lose the weight. Well, again, these sisters have found replacements for bread and wheat and all this stuff like that. They found healthy replacements, but they still put weight on you. You know what I'm saying? If I want to get fat, I know how to eat, and I put on a bunch of weight and get overweight. So we'll definitely talk about that later. If any of y'all have any questions, y'all can raise your hand and ask, and we'll answer questions. But in the meantime, I'll just keep talking. All right, you got a question? Who has the mic? You got the mic? Oh, I got the mic. All right, let me make sure it's on. Test. Hold on. Test. Okay. Because don't forget, this is mainly a question and answer, so that's pretty much the end of my presentation. Everything else will probably get answered when y'all ask questions. Go ahead, brother.
So Michael Israel, if you're training and you say amino acids help build your muscles, right? So now that the protein shakes and eating the 2 and 3, 4 or 5 meals a day just to pack on isn't good for you. So what is an alternative if you're trying to pack on a little bit?
Right. So the thing I talked about a couple months ago, or whatever, I was watching a lot of Ronnie Coleman, watching him work out. And I mean, that dude was swole. Have y'all seen Ronnie Coleman? He was one of the biggest. If you see him today, he looks like a deflated balloon. I mean, I watched one of his videos, and he was doing what the brother here was saying. He was packing on weight. That this dude ate. He had a thing of chicken. It was like that bowl was about this big around and like that big, all chicken breasts, and he's just pouring a hot barbecue sauce on it. He ate that whole thing for one meal. He eats 5 meals like that a day. Okay. And then in the video, he went through what what supplements and medications he takes each day. Even when you saw him in his prime, he had heart disease, or not heart disease, he had kidney disease, diabetes, all that. You know, that stuff was like destroying his kidneys. If you see him today, he permanently has to walk with crutches. He's in bad shape. So, but going to what you're saying, what the brother asks is he wants to bulk up. If you want to put on muscles, what do you need to do? You can bulk up and put on muscles on a plant-based diet. Uh, it- Look at a gorilla, look at an elephant. I mean, they put on plenty. If you want to put on more muscle, you got to eat more, and you got to eat foods like alfalfa sprouts, bamboo shoots. You got to eat those dense vegetables and foods and stuff like that. Again, when these people consume all this protein, their body still has to break it down into amino acids. You see what I'm saying? And then the body reassembles it into the proteins it needs for the muscles. So, but yeah, you want to eat dense, heavy foods. And then the other thing to keep in mind when you're dealing with fruits and vegetables is um, fruits cleanse, they clean, and vegetables build. Okay? And a fruit is what a plant produces, that thing that you pull off it. Any other part of the plant is a vegetable. So, like cassava is a root vegetable, it's a root of a plant. But they're very dense in all those amino acids, nutrients, and all that stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? That makes sense.
Michael,
Go ahead, brother.
yes, sir. I was wondering if someone is dealing with upper stomach inflammation, what causes that and how to get rid of it?
You in the name that you just said, it says it. Upper stomach inflammation. Inflammation, what inflammation is backed up lymphatic system, backed up acids. So you lymphatically backed up in the stomach, and that's going to tie right in to diet. If you're consuming a lot of foods that take a lot of energy to break down, like meat, beans, grains, and you name it, it's going to require a high level of acid to break it down, and you're constantly eating in that manner. That would contribute to those issues. So the thing to do for that is eat foods that are going to cool that down. So go on a fruit diet or go on a high fruit diet. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's and what y'all gonna find as y'all hear me answer everybody's questions, you're gonna begin to see how simple this is. I was talking to Brother Tony, man. Check this out. Brother Tony is from Dominique, and he was telling me how when he grew up, he said, man, and I talked to a dude from Jamaica also. This dude said when they grow up, they just go out and play. They wouldn't even have to come home and eat. They just grab something off a tree. There were fruit trees everywhere. Brother Tony was telling me recently, and he'd have to fill in the details, but they entered into some type of deal with America, and now they go around and they make everybody destroy any fruit trees. You see what I'm saying? It's a hustle. Like look at America. Isn't it weird all these trees we got, but most of the trees in your neighborhoods and stuff, they don't produce fruit. They just, why is that? But like I said, I talked to people from Jamaica, some of these other countries, and fruit trees are everywhere. And you literally don't even have to go to a grocery store. You just grab some off a tree and survive like that. It's on purpose. And they know if they eliminate the fruits, They know you're going to be coming to them for your medical healing. You see what I'm saying? So I know I went off on 10. Hey, the sister back there has a question. Did I answer what you were? Okay.
Um, Bless you, Brother Michael Israel. I have 3 questions. Would you rather me ask them all at once or just separately? They should be, I feel like they're pretty quick.
Hey, you're going to have to talk closer to the mic, because
I have 3 questions. Do you want me to ask them all at once or just kind of, do you want to hit them all separately?
yeah, one at a time.
Okay, my first one, can you talk a little bit more about like the difference between men and women? Like how we should be consuming? Is there a difference?
Is there a difference between men and women? Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. But in how we should be consuming like our diets and
Oh,
grain and
well,
meat and all that.
no, like at our home assembly, our whole assembly eats the same meal. We all sit down and eat together. Now, when a woman is pregnant, that's different. They need to have a very nutrient dense diet, and that's the best that I could say. I know my daughters and all this, like, because my daughters study a lot about pregnancy, so they could probably answer more questions about that.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, but yeah, it's not complicated. Yeah, we all eat the same. And something else, I just remember something else concerning your question, because I was thinking about nutrient dense fruits and vegetables. Avocados, that's another one. It's very dense and has a lot of like proteins or a lot of very antioxidant dense. Okay, what's your second question?
Okay, so I guess on allergies and asthma, on those two, just your recommendations.
Okay, that's real good, because I was just studying about that. So, and I had a picture of it, but you can look up the anatomy of the lungs, okay? Because I was talking to my daughter about this. The anatomy of the lungs, and you'll see is literally like a branch. I don't know what that thing's called, that's in there that absorbs the oxygen and everything like that. And type in lungs, lymphatic vessels. It all goes to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a backed up lymphatic system in the lower respiratory system. We had some brothers who they wake up in the morning and they be like, and they're like making all these weird sounds and all this stuff. And what that is your sinus cavities in your upper respiratory system in your head are becoming clogged up. They're becoming backed up. Mucus is coming in them. Why is mucus filling those sinus cavities? Because mucus neutralizes acids. They're acidic in their heads, and those sinus cavities are where those acids drain into to be eliminated from the brain. Well, we had some of those brothers go on a fruit diet for a month, and it stopped. It eliminated it. Also, the antiviral tincture, the way I designed that, it's an upper and lower respiratory cleanser. So we had, it was you. Brother TJ came to me this like 2 years ago or something. He was like, you here, come here. Here, I'll bring it over to you. You give him the testimonial. You remember you came to me, you was all backed up?
Yes. So it was probably the same thing he was just talking about with the waking up and the itchy ears and the scratchy throat. I've had, dealt with allergies for pretty much ever since I can remember. And I took Michael Israel's antiviral tincture, and I remember again, cleared everything out. I do remember it giving me a significant amount of relief from the itchiness in my eyes and my throat. Because it's usually around the springtime where I usually, stuff start blooming and pollen and all that stuff, and that's like the worst time. So it was around that time, probably at a Passover or something, and I took the antiviral for that, and that helped significantly. So just listening to going on the fruit fast for like a month, because I did a fruit fast for 2 weeks, and now I know I got to do it much longer to really get the mucus cleared out for the allergies part of things. But the antiviral also does work. Again, I was really sick whenever that virus stuff was going around in the winter where everybody was getting sick. I took that, and I mean, I was just leaking. Like it cleared everything out in about a day or so. I was good. So it does work. Definitely does work.
But the thing is, you said allergies, and what was the other thing you said?
Asthma.
And allergies and asthma are all that is tied into a backed up lymphatic system. And whoever is wrestling with like asthma, apparently they're probably consuming a lot of dairy also. So like with something like that, I'd eliminate the dairy, and the grains, or significantly cut back on. And something else I want to say real quick is, like, the herbs we have, they work, but getting on a high fruit diet or a high plant-based diet over the long term is really what you want to do. You want to eat to live, not eat to please your flesh. And it's not as brutal as you think. Like, we're not over there in our assembly like chewing on celery every day and like, oh, this sucks. Nah, the sisters know how to make good meals, and majority of the meals they make are better than their original version, with the ingredients that don't promote healing and cleansing of the body. Okay. And like I said, the stuff the things I'm telling you, they're provable and they're observable and they're repeatable within weeks. And there's no barriers to testing what I'm telling y'all. You know what I'm saying? What was your third question?
So, it was more so just around like grain being mentioned in scripture a lot.
Say that
Um,
again.
It was more so around grain being mentioned in scripture a lot.
Okay.
I know when I brought this to my master, he mentioned that. And so I was very
Right.
excited to cut grain out altogether. And, that's was a big staple in our diet. And so that was something he brought up. So I just kind of get your
Right.
thoughts there.
So one of the things what I talked about is the grains we that we have today don't even resemble, like, the wheat we have today does not resemble the wheat we had in the 60s. And some people said you be, what they call it, a dwarf wheat or something like that. Okay. And what they've done, they haven't, they haven't genetically modified the wheat, but they've bred it. I think, is that what it's called when they mix different strains of it? They've bred the wheat in a way to make the roots shoot down deep real fast and make the plant grow shorter but blossom quicker for harvesting purposes and all that. And in doing that, you have different types of proteins, longer proteins and weird proteins in it that cause issues. So on what you said with grains in the Bible and grains as a whole, you don't need to, what I said, my thing is, we overeat grains. They put it in everything. And the way they've modified it, it's addictive. It causes you to crave more. So you'll, like, for instance, you go to Chick-fil-A, puts sugar in everything. They put it in the fried chicken, in the French fries, in the bread, and people like, I just love Chick-fil-A. You know, no, you a Chick-fil-A head. You know what I'm saying? You addicted to Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying? So my thing, I don't think in biblical times they were eating grain the way we eat it today. You know what I'm saying? I think if you just think about it, we were probably eating more farm stuff that we grew. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we were eating meat the way we're eating it now, because think of the amount of meat we consume, like every meal and all that. Yeah. So this American way of living, like if you go to, I think if we look at what they do in the Middle East, we'd get and in Africa, we get kind of a closer idea of maybe how we function. But the way I eat, what I've been doing is just eating and testing. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing, okay, let me eat this, and it's a blessing that we got a whole home of brothers and sisters who willing to do this too. They're about this. So they're willing to, like, we'll do a 1 month fruit fast. And the first time we did it, the first 15 days was brutal because we just eating raw fruit. And I was like, yo, this ain't gonna work. And I told Sister Coy, I said, hey, figure out some savory meals you could cook that are all fruit based. They took it and ran with it. Like, we sitting there having spaghetti. We having spaghetti squash and spaghetti sauce and all this other stuff. And we enjoying our fruit fast. You know what I'm saying? So, any other question? Okay. Brother Jonathan, give the brother. He get ready to get on me about that iron. All right.
Bless y'all. Well, actually, Brother Mike, I'm gonna actually ask you first. I did, because we talked about it during the leadership meeting. I was gonna bring you a sample, and I could wait for a later time. But do you want me to kind of elaborate a little bit about what I was talking about the processing of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you this too, so that way maybe a visual may help.
So Brother Jonathan, he's talking about the einkorn and the grains that are ground properly and completely, right?
So real quick, what we was talking about, and it's because me and Brother Mike, we just kind of was talking about the different dynamics. And one of the things that about like flour, in particular wheat, pretty much all the wheat that you're going to buy, I don't care whether they say it's organic or not, is not going to be good for you. This is actually how we consume wheat on a community. The issue is that, like he was saying, it's not so much about the GMO, it's the process of how they actually get you flour. So this right here is actually called wheat berries. It has the germ and the bran still on it, okay? Those are the things that help give a balance to how the actual, it's in your stomach, how it breaks down. Because what they'll do is they'll say something that's whole grain or something like that. And by the FDA, they'll what they call steel roll the process, where they pretty much leave nothing but the gluten. They take the oil and the bran out. And then for it to be considered to be whole grain, they only have to put 5% back in, which is really deceiving people. I personally, as like what Brother Mike was saying, have
Put the mic closer.
Oh, pros. Okay. So I have personally had my experience with bread. That's for you. Yeah. Yeah. I have personally had my experience with dealing with breads. Now, of course, I ate bread just like everybody else, and I did have leaky gut, all kinds of issues with that. Since we got to community, actually, Brother Marty introduced that to us, and the sister started baking breads by grinding it because that's the only way you're really going to be able to get it truly, even the way they ate it in the Bible days. That's how it's preserved. It's actually preserved for thousands of years in the form of the berry itself. It requires no special malar or process and stuff like that. But get to the point, we have physically seen the difference of grinding it and then baking the breads. We do not put sugar in it. If they do, they use honey, which makes a big difference. And it actually, because it has the brain on it still, it actually has a content of fiber, which help counteracts even in the process of breaking it down. So that way it's a little bit better on your system. I'm not going to try to go too deep into it, but it is a difference that we found is that you truly have to grind the berries. It don't matter where you get it from, whatever special store say that this is organic flour. If you don't grind it yourself, you're going to have an issue with it not being complete the way the Most High intended for it to be. I'm just leave it right there.
That's good.
My question is about hormones. How can you know as women, I guess they kind of know because they have their, I don't know what they have, but they be knowing when their hormones be on and off and all that stuff. But how can a man tell that his hormones are imbalanced or something like that? Like, what would that look like for us?
Yeah, I mean, if you got all, like, if you ain't growing breasts, I don't know. I mean,
no.
if I start growing some breasts and start crying all the time, I know something's wrong.
Okay, well, let me ask it better because it was really transitioned to like a more of a food question. What foods should men eat and or stay away from that would affect their testosterone? Because I know that's a thing that I'm
Right.
realizing around like
Right.
YouTube, and we're like that's an issue that people are having. So what foods should we eat to help
Right.
strengthen and keep our testosterone levels high, and what foods should we completely avoid?
Now I get what you're saying. Okay, so just like every other organ and like some of those pictures I showed you up there, just like that, um, you know, all your glands, your hypothalamus, your thyroid, your all your glands have uh, lymphatic vessels in them. And when you consume the wrong type of diet and you consume some of these manufactured foods and they're putting stuff in them, it it's going to affect hormones and your endocrine system, which are your glands and all that stuff like that. At the end of the day, and that's why I like what Brother Jonathan was saying. You want to get these foods in their most complete Yah made form, because y'all know when these heathens start tinkering with stuff, it never turns out well. So going back to our home, like when we were on that fruit diet, one of the obvious things that you see when you're doing like a fruit fast for a month is everything the sisters are making, like instead of buying spaghetti that they made in some factory somewhere, Sister Cora had spaghetti squash. She just cuts the squash in half, puts it in the oven, roasts it for a little while, scrapes it all out, and we put spaghetti sauce on. All these issues that people have with their bodies and things going on, if you want to just keep it real simple, they're buying stuff that has been manipulated by these companies. The name of the game, like they tell they tell people if you want to be healthy, shop on the outside, like the outer parts of the grocery store. So like the produce section, the meat section, and then the dairy section or whatever. You know, I say mostly the produce section, sparingly the other sections if you want to really reverse disease and everything like that. You see what I'm saying? And I'll say this: the reason why, you know, I push fruits, and again, they're gonna cleanse the body, and I push vegetables and stuff like that is because, like, I've seen it. I've watched people they go on grape fast for 90 days straight, nothing but grapes, and it reverses diseases, major diseases, heavy stuff. You know what I'm saying? What tumor shrink, all that stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, with the whole hormone thing, man, that just is with some of these crazy foods. I know soy is one of them, but a lot of the things they're putting in these foods and everything like that. So,
I got one more.
go ahead.
In your opinion, how often should we consume meat? Like, I know you said, like, in the Bible days they probably didn't eat it every single day like we do, but what, in your opinion, what would be a good amount to consume? I guess
Right.
maybe in a week or a
Well,
month.
like I said, it really depends on the situation, and I'm not sitting here saying meat is bad and everything, because meat, there's like vitamins and stuff in meat that you get that help you, but it depends, because you, like, some people with kidney diseases and stuff like that, kidney issues, they're gonna have to cut it out for a while and not consume any. You know what I'm saying? Whereas somebody who's healthy, they're exercising, they fit, they could consume it more, you know. Yeah, and then we'll come to you, Sister Chris.
Bless you, Brother Israel.
Bless you.
First, let me thank you and your house for taking on this task and your labor of love in bringing this to the saints, all this wealth of knowledge. Now, I'm going to shoot that rabbit while it's running. He asked about eating meat or meat consumption.
Say that again.
He asked about meat and meat consumption.
Right.
I know I've had some testimonies saying that an all like carnivore diet, like beef diet, raised testosterone for men and cut back on body fat, increased muscle mass, things like that. Just a lot of benefits from it. And I also had it to where they spoke about meaty or really meaty fruits that men can be able to, or that you can consume.
Hey, talk closer to the mic.
Yes,
or
sir.
louder.
So like really meaty fruits. So on the other end, I'm hearing about, of course, all beef diet as to where it is increasing muscle mass, testosterone levels, things like that for men and for people in general.
Yeah.
And also on the other end, that, you know, an all fruit diet, like if you were to eat watermelon, going on a watermelon fast, but also working out and exercising daily, also sustains muscle mass and builds. Now, so I wanted to gauge your thoughts on that, maybe the benefits.
Right. Okay, so now as far as increasing muscle mass and increasing testosterone, steroids do that too. You know what I'm saying? You just take some steroids and just cut to the chase, you know. But now there's a lot of diets out there. So when I was studying about the carnivore diet, somebody was saying, yeah, you know, I always had these rashes, and then I switched to the carnivore diet, and those rashes cleared up. And then in my mind, my question is, well, were you eating grains? Were you eating all these other foods too? What food did you eliminate? You know, one of the things somebody was telling me about the carnivore diet is, like, when you're on it, you got to take these salts to help break the meat down or something. So, you know, but the biggest thing I look at is you're not going to find any cases where people are reversing cancer, shrinking tumors. You know, I could go on and on about these diseases that people are reversing being on fruit. You see what I'm saying? That you don't see that. The somebody with kidney disease is not gonna reverse it getting on a carnivore diet, but they will on a fruit diet. You see what I'm saying? Um, you can bulk up on meat, but you can also bulk up on fruits and vegetables. You see what I'm saying? So it's just looking at it from that perspective. You saw what I read right here, where it talks about how all that protein affects your kidneys and everything. Um, I researched into the carnivore diet. Some people say Black people can't be on a carnivore diet. I don't know. But the one thing I heard that kind of got me was people having to take these digestive salts in order to be on a carnivore diet. You know what I'm saying? Now I haven't researched all that out, but because I like to stick what I do know and what I've seen. And like I said, I've seen people reverse diseases, reverse cancer, and all that on fruit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it lines up with book, you know. You got that verse that says, be not insatiable on meats, you know, because it could cause cholera and stuff like that. So go ahead,
Got
go
one
ahead.
more. Let me see how I'm. So I personally went on like a fast for 4 days, and then I did for 4 days, yes, sir. And then afterwards, I ate nothing but watermelon for at least about, I say, 2 months. And I exercised and worked out that whole time. Didn't lose any muscle mass, but it did increase in strength. I noticed. And I believe that I did build a little bit more muscle as well. You know what I mean? Did build a little bit more muscle as well. You know what I mean? So it was sustainable. But I noticed with cardio or with I'm sorry, with doing push-ups, pull-ups, dips, things like that, that sustained more like my muscle mass than it would if I were just lifting weights by itself. And lifting weights by itself was not sustainable. Like you'd lose that muscle mass in like a week compared to a couple months, 2-3 months with the other.
So you were doing calisthenics, basically.
Calisthenics, yes, sir. I couldn't think of the word. So my thing is that is like what I'm thinking about as far as the basic anatomy of the body.
Say that again.
What I'm thinking about is the basic anatomy of the body. Is it more ideal to do calisthenics just for sustainability than to do weightlifting and just solely focused on weightlifting?
Well, as you can tell by my big muscles,
Yeah.
I don't know too much about all that. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Because I don't know. I would think, well, check this out. I will tell you this. And this goes right back to Pastor Dow and the straightway model. Working out is more, again, it's more man-made type stuff. What we're supposed to be doing is working in the field, growing these fruits and vegetables in the sun, tilling the field, basically doing calisthenics out there. You know, a lot of people say, you ever been smacked by a farmer? Like they got some serious strength. They they got everything strong. You know, it's not just that gym strength. You've heard them talk about farmer strength, like how strong some of these men be and how long these farmers live, So it's getting back to the Most High's ways in the best way we can, So and that's my mindset, my goal when I get on land. I'm not gonna be Like, I'm not going to have a gym membership when I get on land. The work in the field and work in the land is going to be the gym membership, and it's going to pay out with the fruit and the vegetables and whatever that we harvest. So, like, that's my mindset on that kind of. All right, Sister Crystal.
Hallelujah, bless y'all. I just wanted to come back around to the question that Brother TJ asked about any specific thing that he could stay away from to build testosterone, or anything that he could, take for testosterone. Just backing up what Brother Michael already said, for men, testosterone, or for women, hormones, having your lymphatic system working properly is going to balance out your testosterone or your hormone levels. So when your lymphatic system works properly, you shouldn't have to necessarily add or take away anything. For a normal, aged person. Maybe older women or pregnant women would want to take additives. But for men, you could also stay away from soy. Definitely. And then there are specific herbs that you can take to build testosterone. I've studied them. I don't know them off the top of my head, but there's some good ones. Ginseng. So ginseng's one of them, but there's some other ones as well.
So yeah, with that, like, if you eating, if you eat the watermelon rind, like the white part of the watermelon, that's damn near like almost like Viagra. Eating that, so that'll build testosterone. Get married and love your wife, that'll build testosterone. Oh, wow. Go ahead, brother.
So you said you know people that went on a great diet and healed themselves.
Yeah.
So my question to you, what about all these genetically modified fruits, like grapes with no seeds? Now
Right.
you
Yeah,
getting
we
oranges.
were just talking about, me and Brother Tone were just talking about that. Yeah, there's people, like there was somebody, they were in Alaska, and I heard about this, I read about it or whatever, and they didn't have access to fresh fruit, and they were buying grapes from Walmart and on a grape fast like that, and reverse shrink tumor. A cancerous tumor reversed it. Nothing but those types of grapes. And the thing is, what we call seedless grapes still have seeds. They're just real small seeds, but they still have seeds in them. The other thing is, the seeds on a seeded grape, the reason why they're beneficial is they add more phytonutrients. So there's more nutrients in the seeds. But the fruit, is still, I mean, how do I say it? I mean, you could test it. It's provable. You know what I'm saying?
So last question. Are we to eat the seed if we do get seeded, like grapes, seeded watermelons? Are we allowed to eat the seed or no?
No, because if you eat that seed, you're gonna grow a grapevine in your stomach. No, no, yeah, no, yeah. You eat the seed. Yeah, the seeds in grapes are good. Yeah, they're like I said, they're full of phytonutrients.
Oh, okay.
And then watermelon seeds, same thing. But on the same note, like what happens with a lot of stuff, people like hey, they spraying this on it, and they get too caught up with stuff, and that's what got me kind of confused and frustrated with health, and that's why I kept digging, and I found, hey, just prove it. So, hey, look, we done the watermelon fast. We've done these things. We've had people who've tried this and reversed the disease. And then I've talked to people who are on these other diets. Yeah, it kind of worked, this happened, like there was I talk about that guy who was a host of that show called The Biggest Loser, where the people were losing the weight, and he was a host of it. And he wrote a book. He was writing a book about a complex carb diet where he was pushing eating a whole high level of oatmeal and all these complex carbs. And in the middle of writing that book, he had a massive heart attack at the gym. And the only reason he survived is because there was a cardiologist there in the gym working out who helped him. But at the end of the day, like the way I looked at this stuff, and the way I make sure I'm going down the right path is, hey, do it line up with the book? Does it kind of line up? See if it lines up, and then proving it, seeing, what happens. Because listen, I'm just telling you, I'll just keep it 100. If you want to naturally reverse these conditions that are plaguing us, and you see in humanity, people are just like the health of people just going down the drain, it's the fruit, man. Like it's what the Most High originally designed us to be eating. So you got to go back to the ancient ways. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High is not the author of confusion. It's not complicated. Like we don't understand the level of wickedness of these people who run this world, where they purposely get rid of fruit trees so you have to go to them to get it. Like the way the Most High designed this earth is for you to just grab it off a tree and grow it yourself and all that. Look what they're doing. Like it's like their latest move, what they're doing in the past 4 or 5 years, is now they're making everybody rent homes now, basically. Like that's the new norm. You don't even got land you own, It's like an agenda. You fast forward, 20, 30 years from now, people ain't gonna know, you ain't gonna be allowed to grow no garden because they're gonna own the land, All right, who's next? You were? All right, go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my question is, can you elaborate on lupus and high blood pressure? I guess it's kind of like all in one.
What's lupus again?
So it's basically, it's like, yeah, like an autoimmune deficiency.
Okay, yeah, autoimmune. When you hear that word autoimmune disease, think what majority of these autoimmune disease, what's happening is a lot of these grains you consume have strange proteins that, to whatever system that is, they look like the protein it uses, but to the immune system, it recognizes that they're a foreign protein. So they call it autoimmune disease because your so-called immune system is attacking the body, but it's not. It's just these we're consuming. Again, it's a lot of these grains, these strange proteins that are in these grains, and the immune system recognizes that they're strange and it's trying to attack them and get them out. But it goes right back to what I said. When you remove these foreign things from your diet and all that stuff and eat a clean diet, a cleansing diet, a high fruit diet, it reverses all that stuff.
Is that the same with high blood pressure too?
With what?
High blood pressure?
Yeah, did you see that? Were you here when I showed that?
No, sir.
Hold on. Let me see if I get this back up because it shut off. But I showed what high blood pressure is. Let me see if I get it up. What high blood pressure is, your blood vessel. Let's say this whole tabernacle is a blood vessel, okay? And the blood flows that way. Well, when there's toxins in the blood vessel wall absorbs the toxins, okay? And as you consume a more and more unhealthy diet, the blood vessel wall begins to bulge out because all those toxins can't get out of the body. And as that blood vessel wall begins to bulge out more and more, it makes it harder for the blood to flow through, and your blood pressure begins to go up. Brother Terrence, right back there on security, he's in the medical field, and they were, is that called, y'all were dissecting a human, right? Like a cadaver, and the dude died from high blood pressure or whatever, and he saw the blood vessel where it was just what I just told you. The wall, the blood vessel had bulged out so much, and he could see the plaque or whatever built up in the wall. Yeah, so that's what high blood pressure is, and it means that you're consuming a lot of sugar, a lot of grains and stuff like that, And the way to reverse that is go on a high fruit diet, hydrate the body, get the lymphatic system moving, and it'll fix itself. Or you go on a medication. They're like, oh, this will lower your blood pressure, but you're gonna feel dizzy and yeah. Right.
What would you recommend to help snoring?
Snoring. So with snoring, a lot of times, okay, something I saw was where I'm trying to remember who was telling it to me, but anyway, they went on a fruit diet, and their snoring went away because they lost weight, because it had something to do with I don't know the name of the body part or whatever, but they went on a fruit diet, they began losing weight, and they stopped snoring, because what they were saying, like with the snoring, fat begins to build up in some part back in your throat that causes you to snore or something like that. And I'm sorry, I don't got a good technical answer, but yeah, either that or put a pillow over your head. But yeah, that's what I remember with snoring. But the other thing concerning that I remember somebody talking to me about was sleep apnea, and how when they switched their diet up, that went away. So, yeah. Huh? Well, we were one of our brothers, he was a truck driver, and he was just showing us the food choices, because we were driving up from Florida, and we stopped at, he knew the good truck stops to stop at, and the food choices there were brutal. I mean, brutal. It was like, yeah. Next.
Yes, I was wondering about dairy, specifically milk. We drink a lot of just regular cow's milk, Walmart. We have a lot of children. Do you think that it's really important to go with the plant-based milks or organic or?
Okay, so yeah, what you got to realize with milk, cheese, all this stuff like that, the reason cheese is so good and addictive, and why I love pizzas, is because daggone the milk coming from a cow has it has I forget what it's called, but what it does is designed to make the calf want to drink the cow's milk. Okay, so it's very addictive. Okay, highly addictive. And that's why everybody loves cheese and all this stuff like that. The other thing you got to remember is that milk from cows is you see how big cows are. It's designed for those large animals. and it what's the best way? So anyway, it's designed for those large animals. And what happens with dairy, when you consume it, your body realizes immediately that there's something foreign coming to it. That's why, like, if you eat ice cream, you notice people all of a sudden you got all this phlegm coming up and all this mucus. Your body is responding to it because it's a foreign acidic thing coming into it. And that's why, like I said, milk, dairy causes a lot of respiratory issues and stuff like that. I'm not saying don't drink it, but again, back in, like, I'm 48, so back in the 80s, milk does the body. They had a commercial, milk does the body good, and they were pushing milk like it does this, it does that. Well, guess what else happened back in the 80s? Everybody was getting their tonsils removed. Your tonsils are lymph nodes in your throat. And they couldn't figure out why people's tonsils were getting all backed up and swelling and having all these issues. And it's because of the amount of milk people were consuming. So, so again, my thing, I'm not saying, hey, don't drink milk, but in this society, man, the stuff they push on, especially here in America, is brutal. Like, you consuming so much milk and grain and all this stuff, And then what's that diet? What's the name? Is that the Mediterranean diet? They're like, well, the people who are on the Mediterranean diet live longer or something. And that's a more plant-based diet, I think. The Mediterranean diet. I think that's the one they talk about. Does that make sense, sis?
Yes, I have a question. What if somebody's dealing with sciatica, pains in their back, legs, things of that nature, and also if someone was active in sports like wrestling and they dealing with aches and pains in their chest and
Right.
breathing and things of that nature, how can that?
So you talk about sciatica, and so you talk about a couple things. So the first thing is, and this is an important thing, is when you're eating, you know, like when you've eaten food, typically the way we eat, when your body's digesting food, like 60% of your body's energy is focused on digesting that food. Okay. And then when you couple that with the American way of eating 3 big meals a day and snacks in between, literally 60 to 70% of your body's energy and your body's resources are being dedicated to getting that food processed, because it can't let that food sit in your system, because that food, it end up turning toxic. So a lot of people have issues with their body that they think are just, that's chronic, it won't get reversed. Well, that's because your body is sitting there using all of its energy to digest food all the time. Well, when you change your diet up, you go to a high fruit diet or go on a fruit fast, your body can break fruit down like that. And and this is how we do cleanses. We'll tell people go on a mono, like depending on what they got going on, we'll tell them go on a mono diet, eat nothing but grapes for a month, eat nothing but this for a month. And now the body can just digest that. It's no problem. It's just one food. It breaks down easy. And all that extra energy, the body immediately uses it to start repairing itself and cleansing itself and detoxifying itself. That's the whole idea of doing these fruit fast to reverse stuff. And like I said, we've had people on fast and injuries they've had for years, neuropathies, you name it, reverse themselves. People who used to do things in their past, like be on drugs. Like I put some people on these fasts, and they're like, one thing was strange. I felt like I was high on this. And yeah, that's because your body's pulling it out your system and getting it out. But you got to put your body in a modality so it could begin regenerating itself and healing itself. Again, they call it the Food and Drug Administration because they manipulate them things to keep you on the drugs. They give you some diet that's going to keep destroying your body, and then they give you the drugs to make money off killing you slowly. When they know literally the Most High done made a way right here for us, you know what I'm saying? Just eat a high fruit diet, you know what I'm saying?
And the second part question was in reference to if someone is active in sports and experiencing like chest pains, shoulder pains, or like dealing with maybe in their bones or things of that nature.
Yeah, a lot of those pains, like I said, I'm not a walking echocardiogram or nothing like that. I don't know what's going on in you, but at the end of the day, diet and activity is gonna fix damn near everything. So you know what I'm saying? Are you walking? Are you trying to stay active? Making sure you're walking every day. It's a process, and majority of stuff is just gonna reverse itself. You know what I'm saying? Because the example. So, and I'm glad you asked that question. So this is something important you need to know. The blood circulates by the heart pumping, okay? But the lymphatic system circulates by when the muscles flex. That's how the lymphatic system moves waste out of the body. So if you have a sedentary lifestyle and you're not active and everything like that, and you're not working your muscles, your lymphatic system is going to be stagnant. You see what I'm saying? So proper diet and activity is gonna fix everything. They don't want you to know, they don't want you knowing it's that simple, but it's that simple. All right, this brother right here next to you. Yeah.
I was wondering if you have done any research or developed an opinion on when you're dealing particularly with protein, dairy, things of that nature, if you've developed an opinion on the effect of the diets and lifestyles of those animals that meat and protein comes from, and the dairy, and the impact that may or may not have on our bodies when we consume those animals according to their lifestyle.
So yeah, I mean, they have the stuff out there, but again, going on what I said earlier, when I was researching this stuff, I didn't get because there was stuff I was seeing that was getting me frustrated. Like I was seeing where they were like, yeah, they sprayed this on the fruit and they done this to the fruit and they did this, and literally everything I'm looking at, somebody has something countering it. And that's when I had to just test it myself. And what I found is just cutting back substantially on grains, dairy, and meat, and increasing substantially my intake of fruit first, most of all, and then vegetables second, substantially increase health. And because I try to keep it simple, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm sure that does affect, meat, depending on stressed meat and stuff like that. I'm sure it does have an effect. But that's why my thing is substantially cut back on that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I heard you speaking earlier about how when for yourself personally, your entire diet has just shrunk. You don't eat 3 meals a day, and now you just do one. So hearing the whole eat a whole lot more fruit, things like that, is it still the same thing? Like, yeah, because you're eating more fruit, now you consume less altogether versus if you was to, eat just a normal diet. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. So, like on a typical day, this is my routine. In the morning, I get up at around 9 a.m. We'll have breakfast, and my breakfast will be like some maybe 2 grapefruits and a smoothie. Okay. And even recently, I've even reduced that even more. And then for dinner, we'll eat dinner at 3 p.m. and it'll be a good dinner, but it'll be mostly fruit and vegetable based predominantly. And I'll eat that. I might get seconds, and then maybe I'll have a snack before I go to bed, which will be like maybe some more fruit or something. But that's it. And something I was telling people yesterday, like I remember I used to be like, I'd eat breakfast, and then at noon, I'd be like, man, I'm hungry. But what we think being hungry is not hunger, is literally an addiction, the food addiction you're having. Because you ate 3 or 4 hours ago, so you can't be hungry, or 6 hours ago. When like our brothers that are in our assembly, Brother Tony, Brother Chris, Emmanuel, Brother Umbry, when we like yesterday, we had was that yesterday? I forget what day it was, but we were doing something. Anytime we got to work, we just don't eat. He's pastor the same way. Like when there's work, we just don't eat till the work done. Sometimes we won't. Like when we had our business down in Florida, we would just work all day and do our work. And when we get home at 5 or 6, we'd eat something. Like we'd be going like that. And it's like you don't get those food cravings. Like what people think is hunger is like is cravings. Because and since we've come off our fruit fast, 'cause we went on a 1 month fruit fast at our assembly leading into this feast. And it's like my appetite is diminished even less. And the thing is, trip off this, like this weight that I have on me right now, and I got a little gut on me if you really look, but I don't work out. Like right now we're working on building a business, and I've never sat this much in my life. Like I literally all day I'm in front of a computer trying to put this thing together. I used to play basketball 6 times a week on a pretty decent level. I played, now I wasn't professional or nothing, but I would play with college players and pretty high level players. Ain't that right, Corey? And I still couldn't keep the weight off. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy. So man, yeah.
And I also
Go
had
ahead.
I also had 2 more questions. So financially speaking, does that even out, like going on an entire fruit and vegetable diet or just lifestyle versus?
No, that shit's expensive.
Okay, so
But wait, how much is a hospital stay though?
Yes, sir.
Or how much is being dead or sick or injured? That is real expensive. It's priceless. My health is priceless. There's a verse in the Bible, and I think it's in Sirach, and it basically tells you it's better to die than to live a life sick. Or why have all this money if you're sick? You see what I'm saying? In the long term, it's dirt cheap. It is like so cheap because everybody's healthy. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's priceless. Like people are, I don't know how to really break it down and explain it. But go to there's if you go to a hood, a hood is full of cheap food. You know, they're gonna have a Checkers, they're gonna have a dollar store, and you get plenty of that chicken dirt cheap. But you look at them people, like some of the, like when I grew up back in the early 90s, you go to the hood, it looked like Vietnam with gorillas walking around. You go to a hood now, you think you in a goddamn zombie movie. Everybody like mothers limping down the street and folks looking crazy. Like it's terrible. And it's a lot of it is the food. Like you tell me what ritzy neighborhood you seen a Checkers in. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And so now the last question, looking forward, this is the way my mind try to work. So looking forward, agriculturally speaking, what would be the logistics of each community, let's say about 30 or 40 people, to live that lifestyle where most of their food is just fruits and vegetables. Therefore, you know, we don't have to pay as much money out there. What would that look like if you could imagine that?
Oh, I mean, that's the whole purpose we getting on land. Like, it's funny because during our fruit fast, some of the meals the sisters cook, we sitting there eating it, it's good as heck. And we eating these meals and we like, yo, this is all simple stuff you could grow in a garden. No sweat. You just put the seeds in the ground, grow it, and the sisters know how to season it up. And trip off this spaghetti squash. Sister Koya was researching it. Spaghetti squash got something in it that suppresses your appetite. Where after we ate that, even the next morning, I didn't even really want breakfast. It's y'all, it's just getting in line with y'all. All this stuff is pushing the one direction. It's getting in line with the Most High's ways. And they've looked into some of these squashes that they have, and like they're real resilient. They're easy to grow. Yeah, you know, it's what they don't want us to know how to grow food. You know, they want us to think, okay, if I want food, I go to Walmart. No, you grow it. That's how the Most High gives it to it, you know. But it's absolutely sustainable and it fits the community model perfectly. Give it a mic.
So what I was saying is I was looking if you had rough numbers in mind, because like I've seen a 40-foot vine of grapes and how much that produces and how much grapes that could sustain maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And I was trying to see if there was like any type of numbers you could.
Oh, nah. Like I said, once we get on land, that's something we're gonna have to figure out. But what I did, so this is awesome too. One of the cool things I saw about some of the squash that they have is you don't even got to refrigerate it. You just put it down in a dry area and it can sit there. How long did they say it could sit there, Corey? It was like 3 months. You just set it down and you can eat it whenever, you know. So, you know, but we're still learning. We're not there yet, though. When we get on land, then we're going to develop and get that going. But right now, we're just learning what the food does. We're not super advanced with growing it yet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, my question is about water. How much, it's a couple questions, but water, how much water should we consume in a day? The second question is, there's alkaline water and there's sparkling water. Are there pros and cons? Which should we be drinking?
I don't get that technical into it, and I like because they were saying some dude was like water's bad for you or something like that, but I don't get that caught up and technical with the water is, you know, Sister Koya and them will tell you, I'm like, Koya, bring me up a jar of water. And she just run it up, you know. But you know, I don't, when I feel like I need some, I drink it, you know. But I'm not like real technical. I know Madison walks around with this big ass bucket thing. I think she's gonna turn into a drop of water. That, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead. What are you gonna say, Sister Chris? Or did you have another question?
Especially sparkling water. Is it bad for you? Because
Now,
you
when
got
you
the
say
bubbles in your stomach.
sparkling, you're talking about the carbonated water?
Right, like soda water, club soda.
Okay, so my rule of thumb is, to the best of my ability and the best convenience, I try to stay away from as much modified stuff. I try to get stuff in its most complete form that I can. You know what I'm saying? That's what I try to do, you know, as far as things that I'm eating on a regular basis. So, so if that's something you enjoy, hey, you know, don't make yourself suffer. But on the same note, you know, I just, like I said, I just try to the best of my ability, consume things in their most wholest form. That's next.
Is it okay if I give a quick testimony on your off fruit or high fruit?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because it goes back to the question about seedless fruit and things like that. Here in Lafayette, you don't have too many options, but I did do all fruit and high fruit for 1.5 years and healed my kidneys, and I have 0 joint issues. And so, as far as I would say, 100% of any ailment in your body can be healed that way.
Hallelujah. And look, I haven't went that hard on it, so yeah. So, but there you go. There's the proof right there. You know, that's good. Hallelujah. Go ahead.
Shalom, Brother Mike. So
Shalom.
I woke up this morning feeling like a bag of rocks. I think I caught like a bug or something. I didn't have an opportunity to take your tincture prior to coming here, but I've been taking it every day. Is that something to start taking to start feeling better? Like still keep taking it every day while I'm here? I have a headache, coughing, feel nauseous. I think I had a fever, but I've been fighting it today and feeling a lot better now in terms of the fever. And I don't really have an appetite. So should I still try to eat dinner? What's the best thing to do to get better while I'm still here?
Nah, like the body's smart. Like your body, you see, when you get sick, your body's smart enough to tell you, hey, don't eat. So I can use all this extra energy to get out whatever's, you know, going on in there. You know, now I think what you kind of said is how should you take the tincture, make sure stuff like this doesn't happen to you?
Yeah, more so just should I still like take it? Like I have your tincture. Should I still keep taking it to try to expedite the healing process?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. What I do. So a couple months ago, there was something super aggressive going on around here, and like what I'll do, I'll take that tincture, and I'll get a bottle of water, drink a little bit of water, and I'll pour half that bottle of the tincture in that water, and just sip that water. You know what I'm saying? And but so what I found, like once something actually gets into your system and your body's fighting it off, you just gonna have to, like, there ain't no way to just neutralize it. But aggressively taking that tincture will expedite detox and cleansing it out of there.
Yes, sir. And you also said so don't eat as well until.
No, if you so if you get sick and if you really want to heal quick, just go on a water fast.
Okay.
Yeah, and to get some nutrients and stuff, you could just do some type of fruit fast, like a grape fast or a watermelon fast. That's going to start cleansing the body quickly. However, you need to be ready for the healing symptoms that it might bring, because it could bring, like I've seen people go on watermelon fast, and different types of fruit fast, and there's healing symptoms. You'll get fevers. You'll get all types of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Crazy stuff going on, depending on how intense the symptoms get. So.
Bless you, Brother Mike.
Bless you.
I wanted to ask about the storage of food when it comes to plastic, because I know I've heard about the negative effects of plastic on testosterone versus using glass. If you have anything on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't get caught up in this things that technical, but I know our sisters, they do for the most part kind of use a lot of glass stuff for the most part, but we still use plastic stuff too. And it's like with me, if it's not provable, observable, and repeatable, I don't really go down that, that road too much. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something I can test and really see, then I'll go there. But, yeah, I've seen people, they're like, oh, I don't eat anything in styrofoam and all this other stuff. It's like, man, it's just going to make things too difficult. But it's like when I eliminated certain foods out of my diet, and then weeks later, I could see something different. You know what I'm saying? Like Sister Nicole said back there, she went on that fruit fast and she could see the difference. And she was getting a provable, observable result. That's the stuff I go with. Because like I said, when I started trying to figure all this stuff out, it was like discouraging because this person saying this is good. Well, this person saying that that's bad. And this person saying that's good. It's like, what's the truth then, So, yeah. Okay.
Bless you, sir, you and your
Bless you.
household. Praise
Bless you.
Yah. I had a personal question as far as, do you believe that your fruit diet or fruit fast will be the answer for me personally? I have heat flashes throughout the year. Like it can be spring, winter. Like last feast, it was below zero, and I was in a tent, still bundled up, but sweating. So it only happened like a few times out the year, like a month, like maybe a few months out the year. But as far as when I'm asleep, I have heat flashes, and the whole bed will be wet. Your buffer is just sweating. And would you say that's like your body's just finishing something off, detoxing, and trying to like the fruit fast would help that, or is that just something that's got more underlying things going on there?
So you said when you sleep, you said you be having hot flashes.
Yeah, like like the month is 12 months. I say maybe like
Oh,
three.
Yeah. No, that's just menopause, man. You just go. No. Menopause.
Got you. Hey, but I'm only
Nah.
25 though.
No. So, you're saying being on a fruit.
Yeah, like do you believe the fruit diet or a certain diet or some type of not alternating, but fixing my day-to-day routine throughout the year would help minimize the heat flashes, the heat of that nature?
Yeah, that's something like with your what I heard. It sounds like you're describing some type of like that like something with one of your glands. I forget which one it is. I don't know if it's the pituitary, whatever, regulating body temperature. So some type of glandular issue or something like that. So my question to you on something like that is, what is your diet? What's your typical? Do you drink caffeine?
Once a week. Yes, sir.
Okay, you eat grains.
Fruit. I
So
eat.
you don't eat any bread, grains, oatmeal, rice, nothing like that?
No,
Pasta?
yes, I do, but is that like 3 times a week? My shot do her best to clean up my diet as far as what I intake.
Okay, but uh, is that recently or that's how it's been most of your life?
No, this is for like my fixing my diet for like last year. But
Oh,
I'm saying like this has been things for like as long as I can remember. For like maybe a month or two throughout the year, I'll have heat flashes or like just sweating off the bed for weeks at a time. Then I'd be good. I don't know why.
and that's this year or that's used to be in the past?
Throughout like it happened once already this year. Like as far as I had like a week of just sweating the bed, but now I'm back. Like my body temperature is regular and everything like that. But
Yeah,
it's been like that
because
since I was a
see,
child. I remember, So it's
how'd
nice.
you eat as a child?
Whole pieces,
Huh?
whole pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's what what you're describing sounds like some an issue with your glandular system, with one of your glands or something like that. Because the glands regulate all these things, particularly the adrenals. They regulate a lot of the functions in the body.
You said adrenals.
Yeah, your adrenals. But look, like I would need way more information, and like I'd recommend you go get a blood test, a comprehensive metabolic panel and a thyroid panel. Like get a comprehensive blood test to see what's going on. But I'm just
Yes, sir.
here. I'm just guessing. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So just do some more due diligence on that.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Uh,
Thank you.
So, Micah Israel, if I go on this high fruit diet and couple it with vitamins, what do you think? Do you think that's a great idea, or am I wasting my time using the vitamins?
Again, what I try to do is get things in their purest form. So like now, and I'm not against vitamins, you know what I'm saying? But like for instance, what's that called? What what's that stuff in your mineral? Not sea moss, what's the other? Huh? Not that. Not burdock. Okay. Bladderwrack. Okay. Bladderwrack has every single mineral the body needs and other minerals and minerals that they haven't even categorized yet. You see what I'm saying? So I would prefer like her mineral defense. She grinds the herbs up, puts them in the capsules, and just so I try to if I'm gonna take some type of supplementation, initially I'm gonna try to get it in its most natural form because some of these vitamins out here, they not you don't know what they're doing. Huh? Well, she has it. Yeah, you got mineral defense here? Okay. So it's on the website. Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, a lot of this stuff you can derive straight from plants and everything like that.
One more question. On y'all's website, will y'all be having these as whole roots? like burdock, burdock root.
And you're saying in its whole form?
Yeah.
When we get on land, we're gonna switch to doing that. But
Okay.
right now, nah.
Gotcha. And you know anything about slippery elm bark?
Oh yeah, it's a mucilage.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
There's slippery elm bark and marshmallow root. They're
Yeah.
both mucilages.
Yes, sir.
And like it, so if you haven't, you can grind this stuff into a powder and you put some in water, and within about 5-10 minutes or whatever, it literally turns into a gel. And it's also good for your digestive system, for like cleaning it out. Like they have this stuff, what do they call it? They called it, the dude called it psyllium pudding. He takes psyllium husk, mix it with activated charcoal and grape juice, and he drink that as a fast, and it's literally like roto-rooter going through your daggone digestive system. And then he does it on a fast. He does it when he's like a weekend or something into a fast. And he said, man, he go to the bathroom and it'd be like a science project in there. It was terrible. But it cleans out your digestive system. But the reason I said that is because mucilages like marshmallow root and slippery elm bark can do that too. You drink it, and you can drink it with stuff like activated charcoal, because activated charcoal absorbs a lot, and it just goes through there and it just cleans out. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Bless you, brother. I was having a question about the detox program. Like, is there any like beginner level, intermediate level, expert level about detoxing the body? Maybe like something that maybe ease you into it before you go into like a heavier.
Yeah, I think, Corey, don't you have on your website the different detox protocols or whatever? I remember we were handing them out at the last feast.
On our website, we don't have it broken down that way, but we do have the body detox tea. And it just depends on what you're detoxing for. What is the purpose of your detox? And I believe we have the purpose of the detox, and then, why you should purchase it on the website. But it's not just like a package deal on the website where you get like, a few products for a detox protocol. But we were packaging it like some of our products together during Tabernacles, as a detox protocol, but it's not like that on the website.
Okay, so we'll get it up there, because last feast we had a sheet, but we never thought to put on a website. But it's a sheet, and it lays out different levels of detoxing and cleansing. And like she said, you can take the body detox tincture with it, but the levels are like level 1 detox might be a fruit fast, okay? And then I think level 2 was a mono fruit fast where you're only eating one type of fruit. And then level 3 was a juice fast where you're only drinking fresh squeezed juice from specific types of fruits. And then level 4 was a mono juice fast. And then level 5 was you would go 3 days dry, so nothing at all, and then 1 day juice, rehydrating your body. And it's literally like dipping a sponge in water and then squeezing it out, and then dipping it back in water again and squeezing it out. And you just astringent your body of toxins out. And while you're doing that, you're taking the tincture and everything. And then I think the most extreme would be just a water fast. And then above that, of course, would be dry. But we don't recommend getting into those last 3 realms unless you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
because the reason why we were able to do that during Tabernacles is because we had a whole section. It was like we were doing blood pressure checks, we were doing consultations, and we were getting more personal, more one-on-one time with whoever stopped by and just kind of prescribing different herbs and protocols. But it's not like that on the website because we want to kind of get to know a little bit about your health profile before we just say, okay, take this.
yeah,
So we just
to go
that's just
into
how-
those more extreme
correct,
realms,
correct.
because when we talk about detox symptoms and healing symptoms, we've had people that their nails fall off, people go blind, people get dizzy, tumors will pop out of your skin. It's extreme. You be bleeding, all just crazy stuff will be happening because your body is just really aggressively cleansing itself because it's not using any of its energy for digestion. It's just cleansing. So, if people are going to go into those higher realms of cleansing and detoxification, we want to make sure they know what they're doing. Because, yeah, so. Well, is that it? No more question? Yeah, we don't have time. But at the end of the day, again, I'm gonna say it again. Look, if you got something going on with you, don't get brainwashed by this Beast Systems medical establishment. Now their triage care is like it's off the charts. Like their first aid care, that's what Brother Terrence does. It's beyond anything, but it quickly turns into witchcraft and sorcery when you get into their long-term care. They literally trying to kill you. But don't get deceived by that. If you got something going on with you, get on a high fruit diet. That's it. Start eliminating some of these meals. You see what I'm saying? And your body, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your body will take care of itself. The Most High these people want to make it like the Most High made mistakes, and sometimes you just get these diseases and they come from nowhere. Nah, it's them doing it. And that's probably gonna get this video blocked. So, but anyway, get on a high fruit diet, you'll be fine. You see what I'm saying? It ain't that complicated. Yep. All right. Well, y'all, guess what? The sun's out. We go enjoy the sunshine. Hey, and if y'all, I'll be over in my, if y'all want to talk or you get herbs or whatever, we'll be right over there in our camp area, right up here at the top of the hill here. So go ahead, Coy.
So real quick, one of the things that a lot of people
Speak up.
Okay, so real quick, Michael says high fruit diet, and automatically we're thinking, okay, watermelon, grapes, oranges, like cold fruits, but there are also fruits that you can cook that are very savory, like spaghetti squash, butternut squash, yellow squash, zucchini. Those are fruits. Most people don't know that those are fruits. They're not vegetables. So we have to learn, we at a fundamental level, what's a fruit and what's a vegetable. Because we didn't just do our 30-day fast just eating smoothies. We had cooked fruit, but it's how we prepared them. A lot of times we roasted them and they were so good. So that's just one thing I just wanted to kind of touch on real quick, because you'll hear that and you're just cringing like, oh, what am I going to eat? Just watermelon for 30
we was
days?
eating good.
Even though if you've examined your health and you need to have watermelon for 30 days, okay. But if there isn't anything pressing with your health, you have a little bit of leeway there, okay, where you can do cooked fruits. So I just wanted to bring that out real quick. Hallelujah.
All right. So yeah, y'all got any questions, y'all could ask me. Feel free to visit us. We be over there chilling. We have a lot of times we have a fire going at night. Yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed the class. Bless y'all.
Turn that up. Better learn how to bleed the blood of your whole body. Stay in the spirit. Cause Satan could use you if you let him. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, can't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, can't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. He been on my line since a younger was a child. Had me shooting guns, popping pills, smoking loud. I'm the main event, but I was following the crowd. Wish I would've known what I know right now. Mama ain't raped like this, had her yelling in the house like where in the hell we go wrong. Mama them curses can leave us alone. We made an oath to the one on the throne. Them angels was with us, was never alone. Mercy and grace coming straight from the throne. When this was missing, I made it back home. Mama never had to give me alone. He had to open my eyes, I had to put down my pride. Born so lit, I'm alive. We gon' follow the Messiah. We gon' follow the Messiah. Messiah. I'm a lick. A bond. Messiah. Messiah. I'm a lick. How about some of my Messiah? Ooh, you cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me.
Hallelujah. Blessed and highly favored. I love myself as well as my neighbor. Enjoy peace and love, yet I'm nothing to play with. Y'all running with the latest, what I believe is sacred. Our Father in heaven gave us eyes to see, to make distinctions between the psyops and the prophecies. I'm from a place where they downplay your atrocities, give you milk and cheese and never pay the proper fees. My brother's trying to calm the beast by copping pleas, but the only place the beast want the sheep is in his teeth. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, but don't mistake, that's for the sheep who fell away, that's not for you. A wolf knows he ain't in the dark about his plans. He coming for the flock, he want that blood on his hands. Wants your throat not to breathe. In the lake of fire, he wants you to go beneath. Praying on you into your flesh, he wants you to sow a seed. Deferred hope maketh the heart sick. Yeah, Satan love it when you deceive. Disparaging remarks about our heritage and false narrative that said there's no merit to what we read, man. That gaslight like a flashlight. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. Y'all need to get that bag right. Wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. One hell of a ticket, pun intended. Don't you say I cuss. We've been through enough, 400 plus. Our time is up. Take off these cuffs. I've been in repentance for this lust. Not with the porn, but I can swipe up an image and feel disgust. What? They think I'm tripping cause I want more for myself. So that even in my thoughts I'm not whoring myself, yeah. Luring myself away from righteousness with my desire. My right hand mislead me, cut it off like Michael Myers. Life is easy, it's just complicated by these liars. Truth is confiscated, to get it you need the God of Zion. They confuse the sheep with disbelief and self-reliance. Took the Father's name off creation and blamed the science. Hebrews never bought it but still became compliant. Mission aborted, some of us refuse to slay this giant. That talking head should be severed off and dead. Bring us Pentecost instead, let's start speaking with tongues of fire. Ain't wanna preach to us, now the preaching coming from the choir. Y'all too corporate, tell me how does a preacher retire? I see y'all done bought the lies and y'all receipt expired. From the Holy Spirit, I don't never want no peace and quiet. The sheep hear the word of the most majestic, wonderful counselor, blessed voice of the shepherd. Meanwhile, all of the goats are disconnected, lawless, trading the promise of the blessed for a death wish.